So let's talk about some pain rules or things that you need to pay attention to if you are exercising with pain, because the rules are different than when you're just doing a regular workout. So if you have low level pain, and we're going to use a pain scale because pain is very subjective. So, somebody's 3 out of 10 is going to be very different than somebody else's. But generally speaking, if you're feeling pain and it's say 3 or 4 out of 10, so on the lower side of things, if you do a movement and your pain stays at the same at that 3 or 4, generally speaking, it's going to be safe to do because it's not directly irritating the problem. If your 3 or 4 starts to climb up 5, 6, 7, whatever, then you got to stop what you're doing right away, because that means the movement you're doing or the thing you're trying to do is directly causing the irritation to the problem. It's making it worse. You can't do that thing. Now with squats, a certain type of squat, for example, a back squat might increase your pain, but a goblet squat or other kind of squat may not increase your pain. So sometimes it's not that we throw out the entire exercise. It might be that we need to modify, make some kind of adjustment to what you're doing. So that's very important too, but if it makes it worse, you got to stop doing it. Your goal should also be to manage your fatigue, not induce fatigue. When you're dealing with pain, the rules are different. That is not the time to beat the bag out of yourself and run through a really tough workout. Your mindset and your approach has to change to get you out of pain. So sets and reps, everything's going to be condensed down. Volume's going to be a lot lower, because your goal, there's 3 things that you want to do. Is you want to feel good during the workout, you want to feel good later that day, and you want to feel good the next day. Meaning when I say good, that's no increased pain. So if you have pain during the workout, but it stays at 3 or 4, that's fine. Later that day, it's got to stay. The next day, it's got to stay. Ideally, it would decrease, but it cannot increase. If it increases, that means what you did, even if you reduce the volume and it still hurts, something was wrong. Whether it's your technique, whether it's you still did too much volume, even if you cut your volume in half and you still have pain, even though mentally you think, well, I'm not doing as much, it's still too much as far as the tissues in your body is concerned. You have to pull it back even more. So the rules are different when it comes to volume and things like that. In rest periods, you're not trying to get a good workout. You're trying to work out without pain. It's 2 very different things. You'll get back to doing the other stuff, assuming you handle this stuff correctly. But if you jump ahead and just start pounding yourself with hard workouts like you've always done, you're never going to get yourself out of pain. The reason you want to keep things low is that when you've had chronic pain, your body becomes hypersensitive to things. So you have a very low threshold for irritating tissues and sort of kicking up inflammation and starting that kind of process all over again. So you have very little wiggle room to do something wrong. As you go through the process and you rehab the right way, you essentially increase your threshold, which allows you to do more before you trigger a negative response. In the beginning, most people have such a low threshold that they do one little thing wrong, and then there's increased inflammation, pain, maybe swelling, and then that knocks them back for days, sometimes weeks. So you have to go into it with a certain approach. You want to stay below that radar, below that line. Don't do things that kick you above that are going to kind of kick up your symptoms. Stay low, change the mindset, make your focus about doing what you can to stay out of pain, not just doing a whole bunch of stuff because that's what you always have done. That's going to keep you in pain and never let you progress and get back to doing those things you want to do without pain.